Now, I know that you've seen the comments. I know that you've seen the commentary from the rest of the Brotherhood. I know that you've seen the tweets, literally everything that talks about Rudy Gobert and his performance during the playoffs. Hell, his performance, period.
So Rudy, to me, and I'm being honest, not tiptoeing, he has 4 defensive, player of the year. So like they don't just give those out, just because. And like all those people that are writing articles about him, those are the same people that could potentially be voting for. I don't know who votes for Defensive Player of the Year and everything like that. But I feel that I've thought about doing a video on this, but
Please.
I think he is over like analyzed. Like, he
Mm.
has those 4 for a reason and he's held to a very high standard because he has those 4. Do you think Dikembe Mutombo could be able to move his feet and defend on the perimeter better than Gobert? And he has a bunch of defensive player of the years. He was blocking shots at the rim. And, it's a thing that, things change. You get switched out there, you're isolated, you don't have help, you're on an island by yourself against somebody that's quicker, who has like going downhill. So, but at the same time, I think about Shaq and him. The first thing that comes to mind when he has anybody rebuts him in terms of arguments, like I got the rings. So, and to me as a player, like those are the most important things. So for me, I defer to that. So I mean, everybody wants a ring. I remember I had a teammate, James Posey. He came into the locker room and brought his Boston Celtics like championship ring. It's a big ass ring, like this big, and like he just left it on his in his locker during practice, and we're all just like looking at it. It's just like, bro, it's like something we all want, we all work for. So when those people do talk, like I do listen, as a former player and everything like that. But I do think he is over criticized.
And I think you say I swear I didn't think you were gonna say that.
You disappointed?
Nice. I mean, it's what he feels. So I can't.
What are y'all's thoughts though? What are y'all thoughts?
I think he's easily overhated.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's overhated. He does have flaws though, and I think Rudy Gobert is in the pendulum. So I call it the pendulum of really much anything in society, but something that is underrated and underhated, and then it's overrated and overrated, and I think it's back and forth. And right now, on the side of y'all are doing way too much on Rudy Gobert. Should he have gotten all the DPOYs? Maybe, maybe not. Who cares? For me, he's a damn good defensive player. He's not a perfect defensive player. He's not a player that I want on the top of the key, but most centers I don't want on the top of the key. So I think right now, yeah, he's definitely overhated, but maybe it's because of the contract.
I think yeah, he's definitely overhated, and it's because of something that you said. And I think the reason why it's definitely important to ask you this question is because you're coming into the league at a time where like guard play is ascending to this next level, this perimeter play is ascending to this next level, and you said it. Is Dikembe Mutombo guarding the perimeter like that? So from your perspective, can you talk about especially like your college days, going and then to the end of your NBA career? Can you talk about how your defense had to change, or just like bigs stepping out to the perimeter and guarding that, the challenges that you had to face as your career progressed and as those guards got, I don't want to say better, but really started to cook up?
Yeah. So I'd say this in college, my JT3, John Thompson III, had me doing hedging hard on all screens. And our coach always had us the first ball screen of any game, whether it starts at the right after the jump ball, the tip, or it could come 3 minutes into the game, the first ball screen, you have to trap the ball screen to send a message on the first ball screen. So a lot of the times, if I was not in position ready to go, if I'm a step late and I show the guard bumps into my hip, I get a quick foul in the first minute or two in the game. So that type of thing I had to like lock in on pretty early because I wanted to stay on the court. You don't want to get foul trouble early. But then as I got into the league, they have like drop coverages where they ice the ball screen on the side to keep it on one side. So I'm like dropped off the screen. So that's primarily how I played in the NBA, unless it was Dirk Nowitzki, where I had to be up on Dirk to show, or hedge connected where I don't, go all the way out. I just stay connected to his hip and show out. So there's different varying ways of doing it. But the way how I was taught to do it primarily in the chunk of my career, it's the exact same thing that would happen to me out there with Gobert, unless I consistently worked on showing on screens all the time. And you have to be down low in the stance. A lot of times, if you watch when guys are in help side defense, they're just standing straight up, barely knees bent, ready to go. So that's when you can run into trouble. And that's why guys just switch more than anything. 1 through 5 or 1 through 4, just switch, because if you're a step slow, somebody gets hit, cracked by a screen, they're coming downhill, you might as well just switch, so yeah.
That's definitely interesting. And then I wanted to ask you, in terms of the criticism of Rudy Gobert, is that essentially, hypothetically, in the slanderous way, he's just a big guy that puts his hands up in the paint. Is that something that's so catastrophically bad in the NBA, being essentially just a rim protector without any perimeter play? Is that something that isn't even possible in today's game, in your opinion? Or is that just NBA Twitter being NBA Twitter?
To me, what I like about Rudy, like, it takes an art, takes a skill, because these guards are so crafty at being able to jump into your body, create contact, get fouls. There's a guy that used to play in the league, Kevin Martin. He played for the Sacramento Kings back in the day. He was so good. As soon as you touched his body in the paint, he's flopping and stuff like that. So to be able to defend the rim at a high level and score, and stop people from scoring, to me, is an art. Like knowing when to cleanse the defensive 3 seconds, knowing when to cleanse on the same side with your big guy right there, or cleanse opposite, hoping they don't throw it over the top to your guy for a dunk. But it's just like timing. Like the timing of it is just beautiful. Like, that block I have on Melo is just like, it's just, you got to rotate over at the same time, the right time, So like, and then you have big plays like that, so that to me is special, maybe because I'm biased because I'm a big, but yeah, I mean, not everybody can do it. You have bigs out there who just don't have it in them. And you have unicorns like, what's his name in San Antonio, who's not only offensively gifted, he was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie, Victor
Wemby.
Yeah, so it's a skill. You gotta be special.
Yeah,
No, I definitely agree with that, because I even had to take on the pod that the conversation about Gobert defensively is kind of like when people were talking about Giannis is just a run and dunk guy. Like, that's such an oversimplification of what Giannis is offensively, to just say Rudy Gobert is just a big guy down there that block shots, and that's the only reason he gets his DPOIs. Newsflash, he is not the only 7'2" guy in the league that can block shots. So there has to be, and I just refuse to believe that the whole NBA world is just this dumb. There has to be something different between what Rudy's doing and what, respectfully, at his time, like Hassan Whiteside was doing. Because I remember back then, Hassan Whiteside was getting criticized for just jumping at everything, right? And that would be a detriment to his team. Like Rudy Gobert is,
blocks. I remember that.
Yeah, y'all remember that?
They said that Hassan Whiteside, and to a degree it was funny, but they say Hassan Whiteside punched that motherfucker out of bounds when it was a clearly missed layup. And it's like, what are you doing? it was the funniest criticism ever, but I saw both sides on that. I don't know why, but yeah, I think, you know what we haven't talked about this entire time. I think we'd be fine if he could get a bucket. And then I think nobody would be hating on him if he was like a 20-point per gamer, even like, and I don't know if he technically does average this, but even if like a 15-point per game scorer, if he had a somewhat bag, if you will, or if he was just one hell of a like Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford type lob threat, where it was like, oh, he's flying in the air. But I think it's because those aren't the case. We're expecting, or NBA fans at least are expecting, this over the top Super Saiyan God on defense, and when he's a defender that also has his flaws, now it's like, oh nah, he's dog shit. So I think that's where that comes from.
I think I agree with that. Like if Shaq maybe said, hey, you're getting paid this amount of money, maybe pick it up on the offensive end, man, like have like a good hook shot, or have like something that, I mean, maybe he has said that, but would that change the perspective? Would you say if the hate came from your defensive player of the year, but you're a shitty defensive player in the postseason? But if the criticism was like a little bit more, I guess, not so heavy, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, if so essentially you're like, if the criticism wasn't okay, but in the playoffs you're a defensive fraud. If the criticism was okay in the playoffs, if there's whatever breaking down defensively, you need to go out there and score better. I think that's just something that's perfectly validated. I think that's something that a lot of Timberwolves fan would be like, yeah, that one time Rudy Gobert hit a three, we won the game instantly. It's like, yeah, if Rudy Gobert was able to do that, and I think it's way too late in his career for him to just randomly develop these things like a three ball and stuff. But hypothetically, and we're talking about how we could like neutralize the hate for Rudy Gobert, if he was just like more of an offensive, more of a reliable player on the offensive end, I'm sorry, I think he may dodge a lot of the criticism there because I think people view him as a black hole.
I guess versatility has killed a lot of basketball.
Oh yeah, you gotta be able to
conversations.
do everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got in reality, Rudy Gobert will be slandered until he is a player that can not only do behind the neck passes, shoot the three, tween, hezzy splash, block shots from the free throw line. He has to be able to do everything to dodge.
Yeah.
Dodge nowadays.
If he scored more, he'd still be a subpar passer. If he was a subpar passer, or if he became a better passer, what's the shooting like? Is he stretching it all the way to 30? Like it's just too much to me. But
yeah, no. But goalposts would move. Absolutely.
Roy, who's your this team is gonna let us down team for next year in the West?
You know, I mean, just to be a little different, I would maybe the bar isn't high for them, but the Grizzlies, I want to see, you know, what's his name come back, see if he can like play healthy, if hopefully he can stay out of trouble and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they may. I want to hopefully they didn't waste a draft pick because I hope that they drafted what's the name of the big boy?
Zach Edey?
Zach Edey. You know, so that's a big dude in the top 10, 7'4". I hope he can do it, but hopefully that wasn't. I hope it translates. Hope it becomes a good draft pick.
Wait, so let me ask you this because you brought him up. You have concerns with such a big guy like him coming into the league in 2024?
I mean, as dominant as he was on offense, I worry about him on defense because there's not that much film to watch him play NBA style with him not really doing the Olympics and then also not playing in summer league. But at the same time, like when you see guys at, you know, this is like say like Brook Lopez, who used to be a beast in the post, could score just jump hooks all in the post, dunking just not as well as Zach, but he's shooting all threes now for when he was with the Lakers and when with Milwaukee. So it's just interesting to see. This is gonna like, you know, be interesting to see if he can actually like play and be able to affect the game because Joel, as dominant as he is in the paint, you know, when he wants to, he's going to scooch outside and start, you know, get into his dribble package and shoot fadeaway threes and foul bait and stuff.
Do you have those same concerns? There's a lot of big men we can talk about. Do you have those same concerns for Donovan Clingan?
I feel like a little bit like if Edie's like at a 10, I feel like his is more at like a 6. He seemed a little bit more mobile. He could run the floor a little bit more gracefully, as some people would say. But it could be an issue for him. But he's more of a defensive minded player, so I think he can like, you know, shift most of his attention to that as opposed to Edie, who's known as an offensive player. So, you know, so I don't know, but I have a little bit less concerns.
Okay, let's do this. You have to put them in order. You rank them based off of prospect, what you would do as a team, who you would draft, et cetera, et cetera. You're going for the big man position.
Yeah.
Alex Sarr, Donovan Clingan, Zach Edey, and Kel'el Ware. How's your order for them? Oh, and
who's drafting first?
That matters to you?
It does, because you know what role does he fill? You know what I'm saying? But all right.
Might as well pick the Hawks.
Let's say the Hawks.
Yeah, you might as well.
With Trae Young,
and we'll put Kyle Filipowski in that same conversation. So those are our bigs. You got Zach Edey, Alex Sarr, Donovan Clingan, Kel'el Ware, and Kyle.
All right, with Atlanta going number 1, or to say this, I would say you need like with Trey Young. I feel like he likes to have space, so I need a big that can shoot threes. Is that Alex Sarr? I mean, I haven't really seen him score that much in summer leagues. Damn, this is gonna be a tough one. I'd say Alex.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm thinking, all right, who's number two? I mean, Edie did go top, but shit. I'd say Donovan, then Edie, then what are the other two you said?
Kello Ware, the big from Indiana,
Okay.
and then Kyle Filipowski, the one from Duke.
I know he went in the second round, so obviously a lot more smarter people know more than I would know, but I would probably take him higher because he could stretch the floor and everything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit slow-footed, have issues with him guarding as well, but and then take the big boy from Indiana, probably 5.